In the past, the pack used to have like chili stations and some events on the indoors just to kind of, or not really events, but place for the pack to gather and take a break from skiing. The lodge is open. The lodge is serving food. They're discouraging people from leaving gear there so that people can kind of get in and out and eat and kind of stay separated. Um, but the lodge is open. Um, so because of that, we're trying to kind of make it a little more pack Cub Scout, and we're going to publish a scavenger hunt for on the mountain. So we'll have items to find and see and do, and we may try to do like a photo session around 10:30. So we're going to publish that. Um, you don't. The other thing is you can purchase the ticket as of the day of the morning of the ski event, but I would be nervous to do that in case there's some kind of problems either with their system, the internet, or whatever. So I'm recommending that everybody complete all your purchases by the 20th. By then, you ought to know if the weather is going to be um, good and if you guys can make it. But it basically allows you to pick right up to the deadline about going. So that's kind of the summary of the Perfect North Ski Day. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Does the timer start for that 8 hours? Does that start when you get there? So if you got there at noon, you'd be able to ski till 8. Is that kind of the idea?
That's my understanding, yes. Same thing with the tubing session and all that. All right, so every year we've been going to summer camp, and we've generally been going with 2 sessions. We sign up for a June and July session, and the pack has had great experience with the camp. Basically, for those of you that are not familiar, the base model is a 3-day, 2-night camping, and they have a fort and a castle um, as a campsite, and then they have tents up in trees and a minor camp. And basically, they have a program that runs from 8 in the morning till almost 9 at night. The idea is they keep the kids moving and engaged, and it keeps them from kind of getting some of that homesick. And then it also gets them tired out. So at the end of the night, they're done and they're ready for bed. They've got BB guns and archery, fishing. They're going to add a bouldering wall. That's in process right now. And then the AOL scouts, and that's the Webelos that are rising right now. They'll be doing Outpost, and those familiar that aren't familiar with Outpost, that's when they get to go and have a sleep under the stars event with the counselors. Everything at Cub World is designed for our age Cub Scouts. The staff, that's who they work with. They're familiar with that, and everything is kind of geared that way. Cub World is also, they encourage parents to come and families to come, or not families, parents and a scout. Other kids can't come if you're not a Cub Scout, but they encourage parents and guardians to come along with their kids. And that's why you'll see there's 2 rates. The scout rate's 165 and the adult rate's 55. And that's primarily just to cover food. So at this point where we're at is we're in a voting session with the pack. And I know this next date it'll kind of hit you fast, but if you're interested in coming or you think you may want to come, please vote on the dates that you would prefer and can make. So to your left in the bottom, you'll see the dates of these 2-day sessions. And a typical 2-day session is Sunday to Tuesday, and then Thursday to Saturday. So vote on the times that you think you could make. And what we're going to do after that is we'll take the top sessions that everybody's interested in, and we'll move forward with signing up for that time period. So that's the typical 3-day camp. They also are offering for the first time a 4-day Webelow AOL session. And I've got the date wrong. It's 2 through the 5th. But what they've done is they've tacked on an extra day. This session is only for the older Cub Scouts, and it'll be integrated with the Boy Scout camp. So the Cub Scout camp below is geared towards the younger scouts. The Boy Scout camp is obviously geared towards the older boys and Boy Scouts. So what they're going to do is they'll take you guys up to that camp, and you guys will have access to, they're going to do a lot of stuff on the lake. The blob is going to be open for that. And it's a new session for them, but it sounds pretty exciting for what's going on. So if you're an AOL or a Webelow, and that's a bear or a Webelow scout right now, and if you think you're interested in this, vote for this session. If you still want to go to the typical 3-day session, sign up for or vote for the other session. So here's kind of the next steps to keep this moving. The camp is they kind of delayed kind of publishing some of the information and getting it ready. So camp registration is open now. So the sooner we sign up, the better spot and the better position we'll have. So we've asked for the voting for camp to be completed by February 13th. Then we'll kind of send out an email saying, here's the top sessions. And we would like to try to get everybody signed up by the 28th. To hold our place, we have to pay. So that's kind of the other critical thing is we're going to be needing to collect that money for the session. Related to money, an interesting thing is the camp has scholarships to help pay for camp. And they made it clear at the Zoom meeting for camp that the scholarships were not fully claimed last year, even before they canceled camp. So if it could help you get to camp and it'd make a difference to get somebody there, reach out to me and I can help facilitate getting that taken care of. They also said with the current COVID and health conditions, and who knows if while things are starting to look better, who knows what they may be in the summer, we can cancel up to 30 days prior to going to camp without any reason other than, hey, I just want my money back. So if you're not feeling safe of what's going on and you want to cancel and not go to camp, the session we have signed up with, you can request that refund. They told me that it's a full refund. On the website, it says a 15% fee, but I'm going to get that in writing that there is not a penalty. And last year when they canceled camp, they issued refunds in full without any kind of holding the money. So I don't see any reason why they would not. For those of you who have not been to camp, the image at the bottom with the pond of mud, in the background is the castle. So they have a fort and a castle, and it's in basically a kind of a square shape, and they've got cabins that go all around it, and the boys just love it. So that's kind of the highlights for camp. Does anybody have questions about that?
Hey, this is Jesse. Sorry, I don't have my camera on. I went with Jack a few years ago. He still talks about it like it was just magical. And we were there that week that it was like the heaviest rains you've ever seen, like flood warnings, and it rained the entire time, and he still had a great time. I was curious, to put it gently, the bathroom facilities are a little not so great. If a parent wanted to be there during the day, but I don't know, sleep and shower at home, is that frowned upon?
No, no, what,
It's happened
well,
before.
the only thing we have to coordinate is each group that goes needs to have 2 leaders. Or no, it's not even 2 leaders. It's 1 leader per 5 scouts. We typically get a high parent attendance. So
Okay.
I would not see that as a problem.
They have
I
to
will-
be registered leaders, Jack, John?
I will confirm that.
I don't think so, because there was one year where it was me and another dad, and we did not do youth protection, and we still were with the kids the entire time. We did 2 to 1. We did the 2 adults minimum with the kids. But
Okay.
John, if you want to check.
Yeah, I can check. And I forgot to mention one of the biggest changes to the normal crowd that's been going. I forgot to say, they are going to run the camp by pack this year. So that instead of, used to be like all the Bear Scouts went as a group and all the Wolf Scouts went as a group. And you could have your pack kind of split up, and the feedback they got over the years was everybody wanted to try doing it as a pack. So our pack will move around to all the activities and stuff as a group. I think that will be a lot of fun. But so that's kind of the big change there. They do, for those of you who have not been as an adult, we're sleeping in the same, I mean, we have to be in separate tents or only with our children. But they do have adult bathroom facilities that are its own standalone shower, sink, toilet unit, and then the scouts have their own bathroom, which I'm sure is spotless.
Oh, maybe I missed that memo and I was using the scap facilities. I just think it was really great for them. But it was difficult by day 3, not getting sleep, and
No, it's yeah.
but I'm happy
And
to
then
help.
one of the thing that caught me off guard as a first time camper there, I was used to the last day of camp packing up and heading home in the morning.
Hmm.
And they run a full day all the way up to about 8 o'clock. And you can leave early, but the last thing after dinner is a campfire. And it's a lot of fun, but it's also it was in for a long day, the last day of camp. So if you have interest, vote your top spot, and then we'll move forward with trying to sign up. I guess my opinion is we'll sign up, and if for some reason we don't think it's the right thing to do, we can always back out.
And just to underline that next steps date, that voting submission is due by the 13th, and that's this Saturday. And just to be clear, you're not committing to anything by participating in that survey. By participating in that survey, you're just expressing interest in potentially coming. You're telling us what days you're available or not, and then we'll frame around an official invitation that you can then accept or decline after that.
All right, probably the main reason everybody is here.
Pinewood Derby?
Pinewood Derby.
Yes.
We did not know if this was going to be held in some field or wherever. We were committed to making it happen, but we just didn't know what was going to happen. So as you can see, this is one of our older years, and you can see the crowd. And if we held it like this, or like we normally do, there's just no way we could socially distance and be safe and do all that. So we have developed a new plan. We are going to divide the races by den. So you're going to have basically 5 races. And basically you're going to race with your den, and your times have been assigned both date and time. So the idea is that you do your race, we'll clean between the race, and then the next den will start. Kind of a rundown of another huge change is we're not going to be doing a weigh-in and car check-in. We've just got, we feel like this is a better approach, basically, is what we're doing. So what's going to occur in that time slot is in the first 20 minutes, we'll do temperature checks and car weigh-ins. Then we've kind of blocked out about 30 minutes for race heats between the dens. We'll get in at least 4, and we may get in a lot more depending on the size of the dens. We have 6 lanes on the track, as to kind of give you that reference. And then finally, we'll do den awards. So the den awards will be for the 2 fastest cars, and then we'll have den awards for prizes. Our theme this year is video games, and we thought that kind of tied well in with everything that's going on, and I'm sure all the game times the kids are getting with kind of this lockdown. So the prizes are for best video character, fastest looking, most awesome, and leader favorite. So you can, your scout can choose how they want to approach it, whether they want to try to build this fast car or if they want to go after one of the prizes. The top 2 racers in a den will then get invited back to go to the pack runoff. And if for some reason they can't make it, we'll promote the next fastest car. So on Sunday, the last heat, actually we're going to have 6, but the last one will be for the pack, and we'll have a runoff between the fast cars for the dens. Who can attend? This is a big change. One scout, and then the one adult or parent or guardian. We just can't have the families coming in like we normally do. What you should bring: your completed Pinewood Derby car, a mask, and included with that email that went out describing the race, there's a Friendship has a mutual responsibility form. It's required to enter the building. So we'll collect those as people get there, but we have to collect one from every individual scout and adult. The basic rules: you got to use the Pinewood Derby kit. We want you to mount the wheels in the groove set up on the block. When you're done with the car, the max weight is 5 ounces for it to be counted in the racing results. If for some reason the car comes in heavier, then you're allowed to race. It just won't count towards moving on to the pack and winning a speed award. But if you want to go with a super heavy car, you can. And some people like to goof around just to be fun, but it won't count for the race. Max length is 7 inches. Width is 2 3/4. You got to make sure we have a 1/4 inch clear underneath the car, because there's the rise in the track to hold the car in position. So a lot of people like to put weights on the bottom. Make sure it's clear on the bottom. And then here's a big change. We usually have a graphite station because the multiple heats and the all-day session, because you're coming in and just racing with your den, and in an effort to keep staff down, pack staff running the race, we're not going to have a graphite station. So bring your car all graphite up and ready for the race. Because whatever you have on your car is what it's going to race with that day. So kind of some reminders and questions. Is there going to be a separate weigh-in? No. We're doing that at the Pinewood Derby. If your car is too heavy or over 5 ounces, can you race? Yes. It just will be counted as an exhibition. Will we be serving food or drinks? No. Is there a family race? No. For the new kind of scouts and people new to the Pinewood Derby, we normally have a family event where basically anybody, kids, siblings, parents can, we have a race before the race gets started for those cars, but we're just cutting that part out this year. Can you use mechanical means to propel the car? No. Top 2 cars advance, and we'll have a giant trophy for the pack winner. So I probably talked too fast, but do we have any questions?
Just to underline some of those important points, we typically will have at the weigh-in, there will be a place to make any adjustments to the car. We're not going to have any tools. There won't be any adjustments at the event. So your scout has to show up with their car ready to race. That 5 ounces is an important mark to hit. And if you're not sure and you want your child to the race results to count, it's best to aim a little bit on the underweight side of that, because if it pushes over that 5 ounces, they have a mechanical advantage. The car will be faster due to its mass. And so that's why there's a hard line there with that weight. The 1/4 inch clear underneath the car can be a little misleading. That's basically the measurement of the car when you put the wheels into the grooves as it comes. And they sell a weight that looks like it's designed to stick on the bottom of the car. But interestingly enough, that then pushes it underneath that 1/4 inch max measurement that we need for it to ride in the track. And it doesn't hurt the car or hurt the track to run that way, but it does run a good chance of actually just stopping on the side of the hill before it gets to the race finish line, which is a good recipe for potential tears. So, and then the width is important. That 2 3/4 is basically the width of the car. That might include the wheels, but the point there is that the cars are so close together on the track that there could be interference if the car is wider than that 2 3/4 measurement. So that's a really important one too. And like John said, we normally have that graphite station, but we won't have that this time. So the child's going to have to graphite those wheels and make it nice and slick before it comes in for the race.
If reach out to your den leaders. They're doing different things, exploring different options as far as a lot of the dens will host what's called a big cut, where they'll get together to cut and trim like to make the wedge, or basically use some power tools, and then the kids can go back and paint and sand and do all that later. So check with your den leader. They're kind of organizing some of that, and the pack supporting them in doing that. And worst comes to worst, if your den is not, you need help, reach out to me and we can make some arrangements.
And there's usually two styles that the scout aims for. They're either trying to win that speed award, or they want to do like an art award or a decorative award. We have some scouts and parents that really go all out on that. So we have some scouts that spend so much time with the way they look, they're afraid to race them because they don't want them to be damaged on the track. So we've got those speed awards, but we've also got those for aesthetic awards. And because we're breaking this into the den, we'll be sure we have lots of opportunities to make sure that your scout is honored for some of those labor investments they might put into the aesthetics of it.
So can I touch back on anything? Camp, skiing, Pinewood Derby?
Hey, John, I actually started that recording a few seconds late because I didn't have the right password. Do you mind going to the first slide real quick? So there's dates, and then go to the next slide. Oh, who's that guy? Skiing there, is that you?
No, I cribbed it off of the Dan Beard
Got it.
Beard website.
Okay, all right. I started you on the next slide, so as long as you're presenting these first two, yeah, I got the gist of this slide here. So
Okay. Well, this is the core of what's important.
yep. All right, we're good. I have
Well,
more comments.